All right. FanDuel first look. Hopefully, we can get a little more success this week by comparison. This is an actually interesting slate on FanDuel itself. I'll be interested to see what the pricing is. DK's weird, but I think FanDuel could end up being a preferred slate in this spot, even though it doesn't have the UConn Florida Atlantic game because they don't like fun that much. So start this thing out. Miami taking on Virginia Tech. Not particularly a game that I'm super interested in. Kyron Drones has been running the heck out of the football. Team total of 16. I'm out entirely on the Virginia Tech offense. You want to take shots on Drones. By all means, do you. I mean, he scored in 4 straight on the ground. You're not getting any yardage through the air. You're going to have to rely on him getting there on the ground. I'm not particularly interested, given that the discrepancy between the line of scrimmage play on each side of the football is going to be massive. Carson Beck is not in play, not given how this game shapes up. He's a guy that you can double stack, but not super interested. We might have a Mark Fletcher update. Let's see. I don't think I'd be in on Beck, but I'll wait and see, but I doubt it. Trending in the right direction. That's right. I forgot Cristobal said that. I'm still not interested. I don't think they need him in this spot, so they probably limit his work. Gerard Pringle would be the one out of the group that I would be willing to take shots on, but at 7,100, I'm not as interested as I would have been a week ago in the 6 or 5K range. So probably not, which is odd for a 32.5 point team total. Like Tony's probably priced up a little bit. If you wanted to get there, that's fine. I'm not super interested in him. That's a hefty price tag by comparison. Maybe Keelan Marion would be where I would take shots at 62. But that's probably the only guy. He is on the field a lot more than you would think. And 3 straight games over 70 yards, 6,200. You're going to keep that in your pool. No doubt about it. He's pretty safe bet to be able to pick up some semblance of yardage in the spot. I think for the relative pricing, Marion might be the only guy that I'm interested in. Depending at what I'm guessing the price would be and what I think all the rest of these spots are, that's where I'd be heading out of this one on the first thought. Missouri taking on Oklahoma. I don't know that I'm going to play. I'm not playing anybody in this game unless it's something stupid. Like if we come into the next play and Ahmad Hardy's 6K, then yeah, sure, I'll play Ahmad Hardy. But I could guarantee you that based on the relative pricing of this thing, I'm probably not playing a single soul in this game. Zoller stinks right now. He's not ready. Pribula is going to be banged up with an ankle. Maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't. If he was fully healthy, I'd have interest in Pribula at 7,500. He's not. This offense is not particularly great. Mateer is playing terrible. Even at 8,800, I can't get there. Ahmad Hardy's 10K. Xavier Robinson's 8.4. Out. No, thank you. Satania's getting to where I might end up wanting to play him next week against LSU, but not against this Missouri defense at 8.3. If we got him in the low 7s, I'd have interest in a Satania Mateer stack in a different week, but not this week. They're priced too much for where I want to be, and then they can't throw the football. Missouri can't. So I'm out on that game. That's a pretty simple one. Rutgers, Ohio State. I think Ohio State's going to sit everybody. It's 56.5 over under 45 for Ohio State. I expect a lot of guys to sit most of this game and this thing to be a blowout because Rutgers defense is probably the worst in the Big Ten for my money. Their offense can be good, but they're a great team when you have another team that can score points facing them and not, I don't know, the best defense in the country facing them, because then Rutgers can push you. This isn't a spot. Nobody can push Ohio State that's not Indiana or somebody that's extremely good. and Rutgers just is going to get destroyed on defense, and this thing's going to get out of hand in a hurry. I do not like saying at 10-4. I'm not playing him. I'm not playing Bo Jackson at 8.8. I'm ignoring all of Rutgers, sans some ridiculous pricing at wide receiver. Donaldson, I'm out. I don't think they play him. I will be in the main people I'm in on are Isaiah West and James Peoples at 5.6 and 5.5. I'll make a decision later which one of them I like, but I will have interest here from the blowout standpoint, especially if Donaldson's out. It's going to give more credence to Peoples and West getting more work. The touchdowns fell Peoples' way. I probably preferred Isaiah West in this spot at 5.6, but that would be my punt play. I'm more than likely on the slate. My punt play will be one of these backup running backs for Ohio State. They're going to get a ton of work late in this game and get a ton of run, and I will like that a good bit. I don't know that Jeremiah Smith plays. I don't know that Carnell Tate plays. I'm out either way. I'm not particularly interested in that. Seems like they're just going to sit those guys. Too pricey for all the Rutgers guys. On a normal week, they would be fine. I will have interest, a ton of interest. If both of these guys sit, Brandon Ennis is going to vault to a core play and a top tier play for me. He had 6 catches last week. He's going to be the number 1 wide receiver in this offense. Reminder, this kid is a former 5-star and number 1 wide receiver recruit in the country. This isn't, Keelan Marion, who transferred from BYU and was a decent 3-star at one point, who's done okay producing, who plays at Miami as the number 3 now. This is the number 1 wide receiver in the country 3 years ago. So, or 2, it would have been 2023. Yeah, something like that. So, like, Ennis is a crazy steal at 5,800. Even if one of them sits, give me Ennis as a core play because he's going to start out and he's probably going to be there. I don't know that you don't play Ennis. Ennis, that's a great price on Brandon Ennis. That's the best play of the slate so far. I wouldn't be shocked there. I mean, Rogers got some run. Claire got some run. I could see you taking a shot on Max Claire because he was getting a ton more target volume now that the wide receivers have been banged up. He's had 4 or more catches in 5 of 6. So it's just there's no yards and no touchdowns. But at 5,100, I think you got to have some interest in Max Claire at 5,100 for sure. I just would not play Julian Sayin in this spot whatsoever. I would rather use those options to load up in other spots. SMU taking on Louisville. I like Louisville in this game. 28.5 to 25, 3.5 point spread, 53.5 over under. Y'all know where I'm at on this. I kind of talked about it yesterday. I don't love Miller Moss, and at 8.6, he is priced appropriately. So there will be some single stacks when I go, because most of my FanDuel teams I build are a double stack and a single stack on the other side. I will, however, have a little bit of if there's a running quarterback I want or somebody that I think is going to spread it around and not necessarily have a good price on a player, then sure, I won't stack. Like I don't feel any sense of need to stack Sayin with Ennis because the pricing. I have no need to do that. I don't particularly care how Ennis gets his points as long as it's points. So like Miller Moss, I have a stack partner with. I'm more than happy to stack him with him. He has a rushing touchdown in 6 of 7, which is insane because he's immobile as can be. He's played terrible. He likes to talk crap about how well their team's played, that they're not playing discipline or whatever. Hey, Miller, let's try throwing for more than, 212 yards in a game over your last 5 or 4 before we complain. You want to complain when you're throwing for 300 plus, like fine. But don't come complaining when you throw for 136 yards on 28 attempts against Virginia Tech, which stinks. All right. So I'm going to end up playing some Miller Moss. I don't love it. I might play some Kevin Jennings. I don't like Kevin Jennings. I'll be honest. I know he throws for 300 yards a lot. Maybe I need to play some Kevin Jennings on DK. I'm still considering that, but I don't love Kevin James. I just don't think Kevin James is a great quarterback. I don't know. It's just my opinion. Kewan Brown, fine play at 8.3. I am not playing anybody else. Duke Watson, I would understand, but he's hyper inefficient. I think it's Kewan Brown or bust of the backs in this game. SMU backs are terrible. No, thank you. Jordan Hudson's too expensive. The insanity of this statement and this pricing that you would put Jordan Hudson with a more expensive price tag than Chris Bell. That's insane. Yes, sir, Myron. Hey, I hope we get that. You know what I mean? I hope we spread the love. If you take one side, I'll take the other. You know? Or I don't care. I'm hard and happy if any of y'all win. Anybody wins, I'm a happy camper. You know? That's what I want. Spread the love. Spread the love. I can't believe Jordan Hudson's priced more than Chris Bell. That's nutty. I know he's played pretty well, but that should not be the case. Chris Bell, SMU is one of the worst pass defenses in the country. They've given up big games to Eric McAllister, Josh Cameron, Jordan Cameron. Like it's literally been one after another after another. Josiah Trader had the big game. Chris Bell is going to eat. Chris Bell is fitting to eat in this one, folks. Just get your popcorn ready. Baylor takes on Arizona. This is a good over-under game. 34.5 for Arizona, 28 Baylor. It's a game stack style game. I think Sawyer Robertson's priced a little more than I would like. His numbers are insane, though. He's got a great floor, like a 20-point floor. It's just what's the ceiling? It's in there. Now, granted, Arizona played really well last week on the road against Cincinnati. So I do have some moderate concern here. I think Arizona's pretty decent on the back end. Baylor's so terrible that maybe Fafita gets there, but the floor is not there at 10K. No way, no how. I don't love that particularly. I can't believe Chris Bell is that price. 8.6. That seems so low for Chris Bell. Anyway, sorry, that was just shocking to me. I was debating putting it in here, but here's going to come down to the decision of I'm not playing Bryson Washington. Y'all know I love Bryson Washington. I've been on it, but I'm out. I'm out. I need to see it. I still haven't seen it. He played the best game he's played in a while last week with 14 carries for 97 yards. And he's still letting me down. He hadn't done anything since this early portion of the season. So I'm still out. The key to this slate, for my money, this slate, there's so much value. I mean, it's Fanduel. It's what do you expect? The key to this slate is figuring out because Baylor sucks against the run. I mean, they got absolutely annihilated by Utah last week on the ground. Wayshawn Parker, 100+ yards. Bird Ficklin had 156 and 2 tuds on like 6 carries. Who gets the yardage and scores the points against this Baylor defense? Is it Ishmael Mahdi? I don't think so. He's only going to get that. They split it pretty heavily. Now, if one of them was out, that was a game. So this 22 carry game for Mahdi was when Riscano was out. I don't trust Quincy Craig particularly either. Now, he did have 11 carries last week, so I probably like him a little bit more than Mahdi. He's a little more explosive. I'm going to side with Riscano because I know what he is, and I'm most comfortable with him. I think he's the most likely to get double-digit carries, and I think he's got the best shot to break one off. So Riscano would be the one that I like the most. I like him at 6.6K. I think the price tag's pretty good there. And I don't have any issues stacking up. Now, Cameron had the big game last week. I don't think I would go back to the well there. I would lean Trig. And then let me see. Is there any news on him? I mean, he was ejected. Like, I don't think he's out. I don't think he's going to play, personally. I think Hawkins ends up being suspended for this game. I would go Cole Wilson. I think Cole Wilson's a strong play. Now, they priced him up, which I'm really annoyed at because on DK, he's a great play. Hudson's the only guy that I would consider. Hudson's the only guy I consider for Arizona. If I was going to play Fafita, I would play Fafita and Hudson if I was going that direction because otherwise they spread the ball around too much, but Hudson gets the majority of the targets. On the Baylor side, I prefer Trigg and Wilson, but I think Cole Wilson's a good play by himself. He's going to be the best of the bunch here for me, especially with Hawkins out. He'll assume more role. Which oddly enough, Baylor and these Texas State wide receivers, Ashton Hawkins came from Texas State, was here, and then the year later, Cole Wilson comes from Texas State and is now at Baylor. So they're really maybe Chris Dawn Jr. is going to be the one that goes next. I don't know. We'll see. What I can tell you is I don't think I'm going to play CJ Carr this week. I'm definitely not playing anybody from Syracuse. Syracuse sucks. They're absolutely abysmal, especially right now with Joe Filardi, who's awful. What's their team total? 7.5, 43 for Notre Dame. I'm not going to play CJ Carr. This is not a situation like last week. This is, however, a situation where you will be willing to pay 12.5 for Jeremiah Love because there's so much value. That's what we talked about, right? We've been talking about value. So then now I can get raw projection in. Like, it's very easy for me to fit this. Very easy. And there's a number of ways that we're going to be able to go with this. I think Jadarian Price is fine. He just hasn't had the touchdown luck his way. I think Love has the best chance to have the big game because they're going to want to keep getting him those Heisman numbers. I'd go Love. Look at that. Malachi Fields is now 7,500. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. If I was going to play anybody, it would be Raritan at 6K, but I'll probably play none of the pass catchers. I think they just try to feed Love, get him to a couple touchdowns, and get out of here. I'm more than happy to play Jeremiah Love in this spot, though. And I do love, like I said, these are the kind of like I'm like these guys right out the gate type plays. USC taking on Oregon. I don't have a ton of interest in this game. I know it's 34.5 for Oregon, 25 for USC. Everything points to this being interesting. I do like the price tag on Dante Moore at 9,200. That is very fair. I will say that is a fair price tag in this spot. Particularly, I don't love USC in this game. We'll say, like, I'm not going to play Maeva, but I will have interest in Moore at 92. I think that's a very fair price. Yeah, I definitely prefer him to Jennings at 94. I definitely prefer him than anybody in these three games. And then, like, maybe I would prefer Fafita. But yeah, I mean, I guess right now, so far to this point, he would be the second favorite quarterback play based on price. Whittington, no thank you. Davison, I'm not paying this much for these Oregon guys that I don't trust to who's going to get the work. I'm not paying for King Miller on the road at 8,500. No thank you to all of them. Like, even Mekhi Lemon, he's a great player, but at 10-6, I don't think I'm going to be willing to play that. I still don't think DeCorian Moore plays. I think Evan Stewart comes back probably next week, not this week, but he'll be back soon. I just don't see him coming back. If I was playing anybody if I decided I'm playing Moore, it would be a single stack and it'd be with Kenyon Sadiq. If I was going to play anybody by himself, it's Kenyon Sadiq. This kid is a freak. I love him. I'm a big fan of his. Big fan of his. Which I need to note him down here. Where is it? I got to put that down. Hang on. I got to put him down. I forgot about the off-season stuff to research there. Kenyon Sadiq. Yep. At 6.8, I'll play this kid. I mean, just too good, too explosive. Yes, the Wisconsin game looks bad, but that was heavy rain and he was banged up and they were just trying to limit him. I think you look at the rest of this stuff, though. I have interest at 6.8. If I'm stacking with him because goodness knows who else is going to play for them. and I wouldn't take shots on anybody else. He's definitely the featured option in this offense. All right. Arkansas, Texas, 33 and a half, or 33 for Texas, 23 for Arkansas. Why is Arch priced so much? Everything. Yeah, exactly. The Angeli matchups destroyed that Notre Dame Syracuse game. Why is Arch got to be 11-2? So, like, I think taking shots on this is perfectly acceptable because the matchup's great. But like, man, that's frustrating. Talon is fine. I just wouldn't be super interested. I was hoping Arch was going to be 9K again, but instead he's not. Weiser's too expensive for what I would want. 8.6. He'll probably be in the pool, but I'm not going to like it. Because I really wanted to play Arch Wingo. I think Moore's still fine. I think Mosley's still fine. Man, that's frustrating. I was really going to want to play Arch again after last week because I thought he played okay last week. I don't really slate him for that, but this has all the feeling of these 25-point games or 20-plus point games. Man. All right. I don't know. Maybe Arch is in play as a skinny, maybe a double stack. But I'm not like super, super into that now. Not at 11-4 when I can get Pavi at 11-8. Now, Cutter Boley, I will be playing at 73 because he's got a very clear stack partner. I'm a fan, man. If you haven't watched this kid yet, watch this kid because he played great against Florida. That like he had 3 decent games. He was pretty okay against Auburn. He beat up Tennessee, just absolutely dominated them. It really started with this Georgia game where I thought he looked pretty good. Then I thought he looked good again against Texas. He was hyper efficient, delivered the ball on time. Like I watched these 2 games and didn't think much of what was going to happen. Liked him against Tennessee, and he absolutely threw up the pitchforks. Then Auburn, he kind of struggled a little bit, but was still okay. Auburn's probably a pretty good defense. Florida, he was fine. Like he was hyper efficient, but just didn't push the ball down the field. Then he was good again. I really do think you could get 20 out of him in this spot. I don't think the Vandy defense is very good. I do like Cutter Boley here. That is a good value for me. I like Pavi on the other side. Obviously, I'm not playing McGowan at 95. I understand it. He gets a ton of work, but I'm not super interested. I don't like the Vandy run game. Never really do. I don't want to play Stowers. I know Stowers has a monster ceiling. You could take shots there, but I'm not super into it. Kendrick Law will be my 1 stack partner with Cutter Boley. Perfectly happy with that. Love that pairing. Kendrick Law has been playing great. Former Alabama transfer, 11 catches, 6 catches, 6 catches. Like just explosiveness and reliability. I do like Kendrick Law at 6,500. Very pleased to be playing him potentially. All right, this is going to be interesting because Maryland and Michigan should be a game that we target some stuff in. Let's see, 45 and a half over under. I don't think I would play anything for Maryland with a 16-point team total, but a 30-point team total for Michigan, you're going to want to play some stuff. Just one thing to note, Malik Washington's a guy that I'm going to keep my eye on after the season. If he enters the portal, which I would think he would, he's going to be a guy that a lot of people go after. Just clarifying that right now because he's played pretty solid. So don't not expect, I could see him at like a Indiana or somewhere else, like a high-end program. I could see. So Haynes is out. We know that. I don't think Marshall. So if Marshall was playing, we would be hyper interested because Antoine Raymond absolutely dominated the same Maryland team. And it doesn't surprise me. I don't know that Marshall plays in this spot. So if Marshall doesn't, I really don't think Marshall plays. Kind of like what I've been the tea leaves that I've been kind of told about is Marshall sits and they think they can win this game and they try to get him healthy for Ohio State and then that's when he'll be back. That's kind of what I've been told. I think Underwood could play more of a pivotal role in that sense. I'm open to playing Underwood if Marshall's out. Also, if Marshall's out, I'm going to be interested in Kuzdal because Kuzdal got most of Kuzdal. So he got most of the work against Northwestern when Marshall was out. Now he wasn't very good. I'll be completely honest. He did not look good. So, but he's going to get all of the work if these other two are out. It's all him. Or you could say, well, it's going to be some Underwood, a lot of Underwood getting carries, which is very possible. I mean, he's getting up there. I think you could see double-digit carries here if that was the case. But I'd have a ton of interest there. And obviously, the stack partner of all stack partners, this kid's insane. Yeah, but well, I mean, I don't know, man. I didn't like Kuzdal. I watched some of that game. He had 15 for 53. It was like 3 a tote. He just was, especially, well, maybe it was because it was late in the game and they were just trying to run the clock. I don't know. I didn't think he looked great. He looked okay. Bottom line is, if Marshall's out, Kuzdal's a great play, and it's very easy just to get to him. But I'm also going to go the other way, and I'll play Underwood Marsh. No problem whatsoever. And I don't want to play anybody from Maryland. I am a fan of DeJuan Williams' actual game, but not in the spot. But Marsh is insane. And at 6,500, good gravy. Like, I will be playing some Marsh with Underwood because then I get Underwood's rushing upside, and Marsh can absolutely cook in the spot. So that's going to be one of my favorite stacks. I think Boley Law and Underwood Marsh are two great stacks. I might prefer both of those to Bell Moss because I don't like Moss at all. That's what I think, Myron. I think Michigan is not playing Jordan Marshall in this spot. That's kind of what I've been told, is they're not going to play Jordan Marshall here. They're going to sit him. They're going to ride Kuzdal. They're going to ride Underwood and just let them win the game, let the defense win the game, and they're going to be fine. That's kind of what I've been told. So I'm going to buy into that to some extent, and that's kind of where I'm at with it. But that's why I want to play the Underwood stack. That might end up being my favorite stack of the week, is the Underwood Marsh stack, especially if Marshall's out, which I expect. I think people go to Kuzdal, and I will go away and I'll play the stack instead. I think the rushing upside is there for Underwood. They haven't needed to use it. All right, Pitt taking on Georgia Tech. This might be the best game stack on this slate. 62.5 over under, 32.5 for Georgia Tech and their putrid defense, 30 for Pitt. And Pitt's defense, man, this game is so weird to me because here, I'm going to put Martian at wide receiver. Yeah, those are my 3 favorite value wide receivers, not close. I think Heinzel is a great play. Oh, yeah. Heinzel is a fabulous play because, yes, he played terrible last week, but he had been playing great. This Georgia Tech team got absolutely roasted by Boston College a week ago and Dylan Lonergan. I think Heinzel's a better player than Lonergan right now. I would expect numbers in the 300-yard range with multiple scores, especially because Des Reed is hurt and he's not coming back. 9,700. I'm in on Heinzel all day, every day. He might be my favorite quarterback play, points per dollar wise on the slate. So I'd put Heinzel in there. Not that we're playing this lineup, let's be honest. I'm just showing some things off. Now, Haynes King's gonna have to put the team on his back. We know this. We know he's gonna carry the ball 12 to 20 times. His floor is unmatched for anybody in all of college football. He is the Johnny Manziel of college football at the moment. He has thrown for 300 plus in 3 straight games. He's going to have to do that again in order to win this game. I don't think you get 100 yards rushing. I don't think you get multiple scores on the ground. The reason being is Pitt is extremely good against the run. So I'm out on the Georgia Tech running backs for certain, mainly because they split work and Malachi Hosley is not my cup of tea right now. But Haynes King, man, I'm going to take shots 1,000%. And I think you're going to end up having to play him stacked because I do not trust. I don't want to pick on the Pittsburgh run defense. I would rather pick on the Pitt pass defense. Now, tight ends are usually where they get picked on the most, not necessarily on the outside. So there's things to consider. Des Reed, no thank you. Turner, I think Jakarian Turner, you can play at 8,200. He did not play well last week. That was obvious. That was always going to happen. But otherwise, he's been good in 4 out of 5, except for the Syracuse game when I played him on the DK Knight slate. Screw you, Mr. Turner. Mr. Turner. So Hosley, like I said, is kind of taking over this backfield. I'm not playing him at 8K. I'd play Turner, but that's it. I'm open to Turner at 8.2. I prefer Heinzel, though. So I never know what to make of these two. So if somebody could give me a compelling argument eventually for Kenny Johnson versus Raphael Williams, maybe you play both. I don't know. Maybe I do end up double stacking Heinzel with both of them and then just throw it. I'll definitely play something like that. A Heinzel double with Haynes King by himself, like just Haynes King unstacked. Perfectly fine with that. And then I'll play that. So I will have a couple of weird things built onto this. But who do you play stacked with Haynes King if you're going to stack Haynes King? I think Beetham has some upside from a touchdown standpoint, but he dropped the 2. I don't particularly trust him. Canyon, I liked on the outside, but they've kind of gone away from him lately. He was really good early in the year, but then he's kind of fallen off. They seem to be playing Jordan Allen more now. Definitely are playing Jordan Allen more. He's got north of 10 in 3 straight, so maybe Allen's in play potentially. Rutherford caught the long touchdown last week, 5 targets, 121 yards. Rutherford can be good. I personally am a Rivers guy. I think that he's going to be the guy who garners the most amount of targets, but I do think it's always a risk when you try to play anything for Georgia Tech's actual pass catchers. I just assume play Haynes King by himself, personally. So, if in the sense of what you're going to play, I think you play Haynes King, Jeremiah Love, and then you got so much value that you could play around with in a number of different ways if I was playing one team. Nebraska, Penn State, basically ignore this sucker. 44.5 on here, 27 for Penn State, 17.5 for Nebraska. I can't play TJ Lateef. Not particularly a good player. Man, completed. I mean, that was the best game he's going to have all year. 13 of 15, 205. The fact that he was able to complete 5 of 7 passes for 7 total yards is just insane to me, and I'll never forget it. Emmett Johnson's playing well, but I wouldn't go there. Katron Allen, maybe I'd be interested in at 8,900. I just don't particularly want much of this. Not super interested there. Yeah, I mean, the pass catchers in this game suck. I'm gonna want to avoid that sucker. Why would I play it? Shocking total in this one to me. 57.5 over under. 30.5 Tennessee. It could be a Singleton week. I didn't. It's all every week can be a Singleton week. I just never trust him. You're better off just fading Singleton right now. His efficiency is 0 at the moment. 27 for Florida. I am shocked. This is a 3.5 point total or spread. I will not play DJ Lagway. I will not play DJ Lagway. I will not play DJ Lagway. I'm just repeating it to myself so I make sure I remember to not play DJ Lagway, although he did finally clear 20 points on the whole season. I'm so laughing at all the people who paid multi-hundreds of dollars for autos and stuff of Lagway in the offseason, like a bunch of morons. I just never believed in Lagway. He just never seen it. I still haven't seen it. Look at this stat line. Find me a game where you've seen Lagway look good. I guess the Texas game, and that's it. That's the only game where I can feel good about DJ Lagway is the Texas. I'm hanging my hat on that Texas game. So at least I've finally seen it, I guess. Maybe I saw it. And now, granted, right now it's not fair for him because his wide receivers are non-existent. Aguilar, I'm not paying 10-5 for. Not with the other prices for these other guys. I'd rather play Heinschel. I'd rather pay up for, he's not even in the pool. I already got a general idea of what the pool is going to be just off of looking at this. Jaden Ball is a hell of a good player. I'd keep him in my pool every week. I love the kid. I think he's great. He's going to score about 15 points. Bishop, maybe, but they split it up pretty good. Brazel, Staley, Matthews, goodness knows. Throw a dart, see what happens. I can never figure it out. Mizell, I want to be a thing. I hope Dallas Wilson transfers. I'll be interested to see where he ends up. But, yeah, this is just for a game with a 57.5 over under. How is Florida scoring 27? I have no idea. I think, to Myron's point, I think Bishop might be the best play in this game. But I don't know that I end up there. I don't know. This game feels like an under. It just screams under because none of these, nobody stands out in this thing. I'm not a Brazel fan personally. Razzle Dazzle Brazel just does not do it for me. I know he had the monster game early this season, but he just does not do it for me. I like Staley. I think Staley's a better wideout than Brazel personally. But where's Florida scoring 27? I'm going to keep an eye on that because I might go under team total 27.5 Florida. That might be the play. I don't see them getting to that. BYU taking on Cincinnati. 28-point projection. 53.5, 25.5 for Cincinnati, 28 for BYU. I like Bear Bachmeier a ton at 11K. I like this. This I'm interested in because this is basically Dollar General Haynes King for cheaper. I am going to have Bear Bachmeier Haynes King teams, no doubt about it, because they're just too fun. I mean, you could do it in this team easily. You can go Bear Bachmeier. Nope, can't quite do it. I definitely can do Bear Bachmeier Haynes King though, because I just have to get rid of Jeremiah Love. Yeah, that's it. So anyway, yeah, you'd be able to do it and you just get rid of Jeremiah Love, or you take less money on one of these spots or whatever. I mean, there's endless possibilities for it. So easy to do. That's where I'm going to end up is some kind of arrangement like that. Plenty, because I basically get 4 running backs that way. And I have passing upside. Running back wise, I'm not super interested in LJ Martin here. Bachmeier takes too much from him. They're going to split it. But is it possible he gets over 20? Yes. I think you kind of keep him in there, but I'm not super interested. Evan Pryor is okay, going to be available. That means we do not play any of the Cincinnati running backs, which is fine anyway, because we wouldn't be interested against BYU. BYU's decent run defense. Kingston's priced too high for me. Um, I'm open to it. I prefer Roberts on FanDuel. Roberts is a better FanDuel player than Kingston. So anytime he's priced less, I'd rather play Roberts at 82. So if I was stacking Bachmeier, which you don't have to at all, it would be with Roberts. And I'm probably going to avoid stacking up Sorsby. I'm not super interested in Sorsby. I think this defense is pretty decent. If anything, I would play Joe Royer, but they can't throw the ball right now. So not super intrigued with that team right now. So kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I would say not interested in any quarterback, no quarterback, no quarterback. Maybe Miller Moss, but probably not. Maybe quarterbacks in this game. No quarterbacks. Maybe Dante Moore. Maybe Arch. Both quarterbacks in that game. Probably interested in Underwood. Interested in Heinschel. Both quarterbacks in this game. No quarterbacks. No quarterbacks. And Bachmeier. So, yeah, I mean, that's easy. All right. I can tell you right now, that's my quarterback pool. And then I just got to figure out how I want to play around with this. Like, where do I want to go at running back? Yada, yada, yada. But this feels like a pretty self-explanatory pool for my money on FanDuel. It's actually probably an easier slate on FanDuel than it is on DK for me to figure out because of the pricing. The pricing on DK is very weird this week to figure out, especially with the way that the projections look for me. Yeah, projections don't kind of take into account matchup extremely well. So, all right, I'm gonna run projections on FanDuel, get all that set up so I can start narrowing that player pool down. Tomorrow, I'll be back talking player pool for DK, which I need to figure out because right now I have it at 18 quarterbacks, and I'm trying to narrow it down to about 6. The price discrepancies, man. Like, I will tell you right now, I do not like Kyron Drones whatsoever, but he projects so much better than every single, on a points per dollar basis. He is like in a different stratosphere, and the man's 4,800. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do there. It's irresponsible of me not to have him in my pool or say that he's in my pool, but I don't like him at all. So that's where I'm trying to figure out. I don't like the play. I'm not going to play very much of it. That's where I'm struggling right now. So I'm trying to figure that out. I'm going to figure that out, and that's what I'm going to work on. Oh, I know. No. I'm not worried about having a small pool. I'm just trying to narrow it down because I actually don't like some of these guys. But what I'm saying is I find it irresponsible for a guy to project for over 20 points at sub 5K, and he's 4.56. He's like over 4.5 points per dollar, which you do not see because the projection takes out opinion, right? And it does take out matchup, which is some of the problem. It does basically, it says, here's what you've played, here's what you're playing. It does take matchup into consideration, but it kind of says this is what you've been doing. Sometimes I don't agree with the projection. Now, I would knock this projection down personally, but also it's irresponsible not to talk about a guy who projects for over 20 points at sub 5K. I'm just saying. So I have to figure that out. But I have opinions on that. I'm probably going to be underweight by comparison. I think maybe others will be overweight. So I'm just kind of cutting and pasting around. There's a lot of very good value at quarterback this week on DK. So sorry, FanDuel show. I know. But there's good value on FanDuel too. So I'll be back tomorrow talking DK. Like I said, I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna try to narrow that down. Um, I still reserve the right to change my mind when I get to Saturday because we did that last Saturday because of the Van Buren stuff and we moved around. So you know, we'll see. Who is our Jeff Sims this week? I don't know. Good luck tonight in Maction. Maction last night, good gravy. If you played any wide receiver, it was a nightmare. So good luck, everybody.